Hello, everybody, and welcome back to JAZZIZ Essentials. This is a series where we take a look at songs, artists, and events that gave rise to the music we know and love, jazz. I'm Matt Micucci, online editor of JAZZIZ, and on this episode, we're going to be talking about one of the most popular songs of 1929, co-written by the one and only Fats Waller and tied to the legend of Louis Armstrong. The song is titled Ain't Misbehavin'. Ain't Misbehavin' is a jazz standard originally composed in 1929 by Fats Waller and Harry Brooks with lyrics by Andy Razaf, and it was specifically composed to be the opening theme to an all-black revue titled Connie's Hot Chocolates that was produced and hosted by the legendary Harlem nightclub called Connie's Inn. Before we move on with the song, it might be worthwhile to say a couple of words about this very iconic music venue. Connie's Inn had been established at the height of the Harlem Renaissance in Harlem, New York City by Connie Immerman in partnership with his brothers George and Louis in 1923. The three had immigrated from Latvia and amassed a small fortune as bootleggers during the Prohibition era. Connie's Inn, much like the Cotton Club, featured African American performers but restricted its audiences to whites only. Their reviews were sometimes hugely popular, and Connie's Hot Chocolate's success was such that it was moved to Broadway shortly after premiering. Once there, the show dropped the Connie's part of its title and became known simply as Hot Chocolates. Now, the show opened at the Hudson Theatre in June 1929, and its run was crucial in the rise of the legend of Louis Armstrong because the trumpeter was actually also serving as the orchestra director. And during the intermissions, he would play an instrumental version of Ain't Misbehavin' as a trumpet solo, and absolutely wowed audiences and became an overnight sensation. It's probably not an overstatement to say that people traveled from all over the city, the state, and the country, and everywhere just to catch a glimpse of this musical genius who seemed endlessly talented and also endlessly entertaining. So, his name began to be featured on the posters of the show, and Louis Armstrong started to be sold as one of the show's main attractions. As for the song itself, it proved to be one of the most successful of 1929. Ted Gioia, who has written an entire book on jazz standards, states that in that year alone, over 20 different artists recorded their own versions of the song, including Fats Waller, who recorded a beautiful instrumental version. Fats Waller, who, much like Louis Armstrong, was a hard worker, a musical genius, an amazing entertainer, re-recorded the song with vocals in 1943 for Stormy Weather, produced by 20th Century Fox and regularly regarded by film historians and audiences alike as one of the best musicals of its time to feature an all-African American cast. This recording was selected for inclusion in the National Recording Registry by the Library of Congress in 2004 and received the Grammy Hall of Fame Award in 1984, becoming one of two songs by Fats Waller to have been inducted in the Grammy Hall of Fame, the other one being Honeysuckle Rose, originally written in 1934 and inducted in 1999. Sadly, Fats Waller died just a few months after the film was released. The singer-songwriter-musician, whose innovations in the Harlem stride style laid the groundwork for modern jazz piano, died in December 15, 1943, after contracting pneumonia at age 39. Ain't Misbehavin' has remained quite a popular song for artists to record, and some of them have actually attempted to translate the song to other genres and styles. For some reason, one that always comes to my mind is the 1957 rockabilly version by Bill Haley and his Comets, but there's lots other versions of Ain't Misbehavin'. In fact, unfortunately for copyright reasons, I'm not able to play any in this video. However, I have included a list of links to some of my favorite recordings of Ain't Misbehavin' that you can check out, and I've included them in the description just below this video. Anyways, that was a short history of it in Misbehaving, and that's it for this week's episode of JAZZIZ Essentials. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. Also, I urge you to check out jazziz.com. We have plenty of content there for seasoned jazz listeners and also for newbies who would just like to get into jazz, or for the occasional listener. Basically, we've got something for everybody on that website, so jazziz.com. So, like I said, that's it for this week's episode. Join me next week as we continue to talk about artists, songs, and events that gave rise to the music we know and love, jazz. Till the next time, stay healthy, stay safe, stay strong.